Did you ever thought that you were gonna get into this kind of business?
Absolutely not.
No?
Oh my God, no. I didn't know.
Like, did you go to school before getting into real estate, or what were you doing before you actually dive into this kind of business?
Well, before I started doing real estate, I was a barista. But I ended up meeting my husband there, and he was into real estate.
He told me a little bit about the story. He'll come and buy a coffee every single morning, right? Maria Guerrero is a real estate agent who combines experience, trustworthiness, and a personal touch to help her clients find the ideal place to call home.
It was emotional, it was challenging, but it was very rewarding.
Yeah.
I'm very happy and grateful for everybody that surrounded me, that pushed me to go in that direction. So.
Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Ruben Luna, your host of the Good Vibes podcast. Today, we have a great team member that is going to be our guest. She's a mom developer. She's been in the business for a few years now, and I think we're going to learn a lot from her. So help me welcome Maria Guerrero. Welcome to our podcast.
Thank you for having me, Ruben.
Maria, I think there's a lot that our audience is going to learn from you, just based on what I know about you and your family. But I want to make sure that we can, let everyone know, right, of who you are. So let's get started before we get into the weeds. Let us know a little bit about who you really are, right? Who's Maria Guerrero?
Okay, so I was born and raised here in Arizona. I have 4 kids. I'm very family oriented, so that's very important for me. I've been in the industry for about 6 years. And yeah.
So you've been in this for 6 years, 4 kids. Let's go back. Let's take us back from when you were a little kid. I mean, did you ever thought that you were gonna get into this kind of business?
Absolutely not.
No?
Oh my God, no. I didn't know.
No. Okay. At what point, you're like, all right, this is something that I might want to pursue. But before you get into that point, did you go to school before getting into real estate, or what were you doing before you actually dive into this kind of business?
Well, before I started doing real estate, I was a barista.
Okay.
I was a barista, and I did that for 6 years. So I ended up meeting...
You were a barista in downtown.
Right? By the trustee sales.
By the trustee sales, where
Yes.
where investors were coming in,
Yes.
and just starting to buy these super cheap homes back in what year? 2008, 9, 10, 11,
Yes. Around
during the crash, right?
Yes.
We were getting, I remember selling houses for like $20,000, $30,000. And I was grinding. I was working hard for a $20,000 home back in the day. But then it's crazy how things happen, right?
Yes.
I'm over here, selling houses, trying to sell a house for $30,000. Then you have investors buying them. And then we have Maria making coffee for them,
Yes,
right?
so I got to know
cool.
lot of investors, even like big investors that you see right now on TV.
Yeah.
They would go in there and obviously like buy the homes, this and that. Never thought in my mind that I was going to get into real estate.
Yeah.
But I ended up meeting my husband there, and he was into real estate.
He told me a little bit about the story. He'll come and buy a coffee every single morning, right? So, tell us a little bit about that. How did that go?
So he would come in every day and order his caramel macchiato every day. And obviously he would go back to his trusty cell and do his thing. But every day he would come in and just buy his coffee and yeah.
At what point did he say, hey, at what point did he ask you out to go on a date? After
It
how
was
many
years.
after how many coffees?
Oh, it took years.
Yeah?
Yeah, it took years because,
Yeah.
he was being really respectful. But
of course.
actually, he didn't invite me to a date. He offered me a job
Okay.
because I was working at the Starbucks, and he knew I was a single mom. He knew.
So you have one. So you were a single mom, one kid.
With one kid
Okay.
at the time, yes. And he knew that, so he offered me a job.
Okay.
And he's like, hey, I I buy and sell houses. I need, if you want extra money, you can come and help me with this, and this on your time off. And I was like, sure. I was like, okay, yeah, I can do that. So that's how I ended up, like, kind of like getting to know him a little bit better. Not like an actual date.
Yeah.
It was kind of like,
So
hey, let me show you what I'm doing. I need help with this. Do you want to come work with me? And that's when I started to, like, kind of like, he would buy the homes from the trustee, and he would flip them. So he kind of started to show me, like, oh, this is what I do. This is what happens. And then, I started working for him part-time, taking care of, like, the expenses, like, of these projects.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like how I ended up meeting him.
So you were basically just going through the budgets, just make sure everything's being done, the numbers making sense.
Yeah, every invoice, kind of like putting in the...
How long did you do that for?
About a year or so. Okay. When we, like, we started to,
like, get
closer, and obviously, we knew something was there, and
that's a cool story.
Yeah.
So now from being his assistant to eventually becoming his, or you guys becoming each other's life partners, right?
Yeah.
At this point, making that transition from an assistant to, because that's huge, right? Like I talk to a lot of couples that they don't like to work with each other just because
it's hard.
It's not that easy, right?
No, it's not that easy.
So when you started actually running the business with him, what was your role at that point? I mean, I know you have 4 kids, right?
Yes.
So did you guys have kids first, or did you end up, like, really diving into the business more? What happened during that transition?
Okay, so when I started working for him, obviously I left my job at the barista.
Okay. Right.
And
you went full-time job.
Yeah, then I started working with him at the office, helping him with just anything that he needed, helping him manage the rentals, like anything that he needed. But obviously I started working there. I ended up getting pregnant, so I completely stopped working.
Right.
Okay. I completely stopped working, and I became a stay-at-home mom with to take care, obviously, my oldest. I was pregnant from my twins, and I just started, and I was just a mom, just taking care of myself, making sure, mom things and stuff, while he continued to do his stuff, with the flips, still doing, like, the auction, buying homes at the auction, wholesaling, whatever he was doing at the time. And I just, continued to stay at home. I ended up getting pregnant again. I had our 4th child. Okay.
So 4 kids. And I know you mentioned before we started this podcast, how hard it is at times to get back on track, right?
Yes.
You mentioned, hey, I mean, somebody that is super active, and then all of a sudden you just have to stay home with the kids, taking care of them, and you kind of have to, right, at the beginning.
Yeah, you have to.
You kind of do lose your identity, you mentioned.
Yeah. A lot of women can relate to that we just get, like, not stuck at home, but all we do is just, we pour our hearts out to our kids, our family, your husband, to make sure that everybody's okay, but then you kind of lose your identity too. You're just mom, right?
You're just mom, you're just the wife, you're just mom, you're there helping out,
housekeeper,
right? Housekeeper, everything, the teacher, everything.
Everything.
Yeah. So, and that's huge, because I know, a lot of, women in general, like, you have kids, and then you go through that process, right? Having the kids, and then kind of getting back on track, but you can't because you have a baby, and then you want to go back to work, but then they're too little. You don't want to just leave them with any babysitter
you have, like,
nowadays.
a little guilt trip as a mom, like, what do I do?
It becomes a hassle. So at what point did you say, you know what? I think it's time for me to do something for myself, right? Because that's what it is, right? That's gonna be the one thing that I think every woman has to go through. I feel like at what point, not that I know, I don't have the experience, but just based on my conversations, at what point you say, you know what, like, I got to do something for myself, right? When did you make that decision?
I made that decision when I had my last child, because once again, you pour out your heart to everybody and you kind of get lost. You don't know what to do, but then you still want to be yourself. You still want to have you want to have a career.
Right?
You want to do something. You want to have a purpose besides having like children and having a family. You want to have a purpose. You feel lost inside. So because we were already like in the real estate industry with my husband flipping homes and doing wholesale or whatever, he kept telling me like, hey, you should get your real estate license, because you can still be present but still do maybe real estate on the side until the kids get a little bit older, and then you pick up the pace and do something else. And at the time I was like, nope, I can't do that, it's too much. And then finally I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try, because I've always tried. I'm not gonna say no. Even like today, it's scary. But I was like
doing a podcast, right?
Doing a podcast. I didn't say no. I was like, okay, I'll try once. If it doesn't work out, it's okay. I tried. And I was like, okay, I could do it. It was difficult, like I was telling you, because in the daytime I had to play the role of mom, you know, make sure everything was done throughout the day, and then going to my online classes at nighttime from like 8 to 9 to 12 to 1 o'clock in the morning, and go to sleep and then do it back again until I got my license. And that was challenging for me.
I mean, anything that is going to be good is going to be challenging.
It was emotional, it was challenging, but it was very rewarding.
Yeah.
I'm very happy and, grateful for everybody that surrounded me, that pushed me to go in that direction. So.
And I think that's huge. Just kind of pushing yourself to get out of your comfort zone. Because it's so easy to stay there, right?
Yes.
It's so easy to like, all right, you know what, I'm good. Like,
that was the hardest thing to do, is getting out of my comfort zone and saying, I'm going to do this. Because I could have just stayed and said like, oh, I'm just going to be like a stay-at-home mom. I'm just going to do it. But getting out of my comfort zone was one of the hardest things for me to do.
Yeah. That's awesome. Congrats.
And that's why we need accountability.
Yes.
Because we get comfortable in whatever it is that we're doing. If it's just staying at home, doing your little, whatever you do every day, just to get out of your comfort zone, it's really hard. Yeah.
So you got your license. I mean, when I got my license, I was super excited, even though I had no closings. How'd you feel when you passed your exam and got your real estate license?
I just feel accomplished, like I did something for myself. I was just really excited.
Okay.
Like I did it because obviously, like, I had responsibilities. I wasn't like young, like not young, but like I had to work a little bit extra just to get it done,
right?
Because I had like a full house of toddlers, and it was a war zone at the house, and still trying to do it. So I just felt like I did it.
Yeah,
I did it.
That little moment that it's just like I feel so proud of myself. I got this done.
Did it.
So how did your first year of real estate look like?
Well, I got my license in COVID. That's why during
COVID. Okay.
COVID. That's why we were doing the school online, because everything got transitioned to online. Yeah. At the time.
And just doing a school online is.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah. So I got it online, and it was through COVID, and interest rates had just dropped when I got my license, and I remember that I had listed one of my husband's flips, my first one. Okay. I listed that property. I got my license. The next week I had the listing. I was like, wait for me until I get my...
You already have business coming in.
I was like, wait for me until I get my license. Don't list it with anybody else. Yeah. Wait for me. I promise you I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
So I ended up listing the property like, the first week I got licensed. And then I put my sign outside, and then immediately people start calling you. It was COVID, like interest rates had dropped. And right away, I started getting business, and I didn't even know how to write a contract.
Oh, my God.
I didn't know how to do any of that. Yeah. I had buyers, and then it's like, oh, I would get clients like, quiero vender esta casa. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
I was calling my broker, everybody that I can
Yeah,
get my
get
hands.
help
I was
with,
like,
yeah.
like, how do I do this? How do I get this contract? How do I do another listing? I didn't know, but everything happened so fast.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you already had the business, right? It was your husband was just waiting for you to just feel that puzzle, right? That piece of the puzzle. So that's pretty cool.
That helped me.
Yeah.
That helped me with the flips. But it was crazy how, at the time, the industry was booming. People were buying left
During
and
COVID,
right.
yes.
Yeah, they would see a sign of a realtor and they were calling that realtor and right away. They were just wanting to
do something.
do something.
Yeah.
So that's how I started, and that's how I got my experience so fast. I was so young. Not young.
Young in the business.
Young in the business. And I remember my first year, I got my license like I don't know, like June.
2020.
Yeah, June 2020 o algo así, 2020. And in that time frame for December, I remember I did like 8 or 9 transactions.
Okay.
As a newbie.
In about 6 months. Yeah, that's huge.
Like as a newbie.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. And it was crazy. Like everything just happened so fast and I got to learn.
Besides, obviously, I mean, you got listings right away. Your husband was a huge, portion of it. But how was it helping the first family purchase their house? Do you remember?
Yes.
Okay.
I remember his name, Alberto Nietos.
Okay.
He was so nice, so kind. He actually called me from the first listing that I had.
Sign calls, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He called me and right away I helped them. I set up an appointment and just helped them. And it just felt so good. I remember he was a single father with his son trying to provide like stability. He went through a divorce and he kind of wanted to start all over. So I helped them with that. But that feeling of helping him and walking him through all the steps. And then obviously he's torn because he just came from a situation and me trying to guiding him and helping him like have a house for himself and this is going to be your room and this is going to be that. Like that was so rewarding. Like I felt like that warm feeling inside.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, okay, I think I like this.
Yeah.
I get emotional on every closing.
Yeah.
I just got like really emotional. I was like, okay, I think I found what I was missing, what I didn't know that I liked or wanted.
Yeah. And I think that comes down from the place of serving, right? When you serve somebody, we get paid, but we don't know when that's going to happen, right? Sometimes it can take months. I've seen cases. I have helped families that sometimes they take even years, right?
Right.
We're not charging anybody per the hour. We're just there when they're ready, and
we'll be rich.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And the reward comes with, hey, like I helped this family, like start creating wealth, right? But purchasing their first house, and I think the first closing, it's always very, very rewarding. So from that point, what happened next?
Well, I continued with I found like you said, like my purpose. I learned that I like helping people. I found out that was very rewarding. I liked it, so I continued to grow in that because still, it was still like it's very new to the business, and I was just trying to get experience. And then I was representing a seller in one of my listings that there was a little tiny lot for sale that I said for sale by owner. And at the time, I didn't think nothing of it. I called him and I purchased this tiny little lot
Okay.
because it was cheap. And I was like, oh, la podemos hacer for trailas or whatever.
Do something, right?
Do something. It was cheap and we needed space because my husband was doing flips and stuff like that. And that's kind of like, we bought this little lot and we started like, thinking like building, like building, developing. So, obviously my husband and I talked about it and then we're like, hey, we should do this because flipping is different than developing. Developing, you can create, you're creating your stuff. You can be creative with it. You can just, so
come up with your own ideas.
your own
and then,
ideas
yeah.
and creating, and then better yet, like giving a product that is brand new, something, like
Yeah.
something better or new for the client. So that's how it came up. And then, and that's how we started. We started brainstorming. I was like, you want to do this? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And we came up with our name, and we were just kind of like brainstorming. It was scary because it was something new, but it was something that's kind of like how it started.
Props to you and your husband, just because you guys buying this little lot. I mean, I would never buy a little lot. I mean, like, what do I do with it, right? Like,
But we thought like for storage,
well, yeah, exactly, right. As an
trash.
investment, you're like, all right, this is gonna be a great investment. I think it's gonna serve us some kind of purpose, right? It's gonna have a purpose, and just taking the risk, right? And that's, I think that's where a lot of people get stuck, because just taking the risk itself.
Yeah.
Taking the risk. But then this is the craziest part. Like, who builds a skinny home in Phoenix, Arizona? Like, that's insane.
We do.
Like, who came up with this skinny home idea? Hey, I've gone to the one restaurant. What's it called? They have the Skinnylicious burgers, and
Oh.
you know what I'm talking about? Oh my God, I'll remember. But that reminds me of the skinny homes. So, whose idea was this? And how do you guys, who came up with this idea? How do you guys approach it? And what was the process to even get it approved?
It was a process. It was a long process. But going back to, it didn't, because going back, rewinding it, trying to figure out, like, what are we going to do? If we're going to do development.
Yeah.
We started doing the development. At first, we didn't start development right away. We started going to trade shows, learning a little bit about construction. We were traveling to, like, California.
Educating yourself.
Yeah, educating, design. We would go to, like, Florida, to Nevada, to different trade shows to see, like, what it is. Different materials, different things that we can use. We would go to tiny home shows too.
Yeah.
So to get ideas, to just start to do, like, your own thing.
Yeah.
And then we went through that process of creating, like, a concept of the duplex and triplex that we built. They're kind of like a tinier version of an apartment, and that's kind of like the tiny home kind of followed into that.
Yeah.
And since we already had purchased one of these little lots that we had, that we used it for equipment. We had our trailers, we had
your equipment,
containers, tools, everything. And then we were like, let's just see if because the zoning, it wasn't zoned to be permitted to build on it. We had to go through the rezoning. We had to do a variance to build on this. In that process, and we're like, we're just sitting on it. It's paid off. It's like, let's just submit if we can rezone it and build something on it.
Right.
So we did that, and that was the longest piece. It took, like, I don't know, like 12 to 18 months, because obviously when you rezone, you do the variance, you have to ask all the neighbors to.
It's a process.
Yeah, it's a process that everybody has to sign off.
So you went to ask the neighbors?
No, well, the city.
The city does it.
The city does that, but they have to to see if you can go through that process. So if you can't, then you can't.
Yeah.
It's like everything else. You can't. So we went through that process, and we sat on it. We continued to do what we were doing, still trying to build, like, at the time, the multi-units.
Yes.
And we just let that sit.
Yeah.
We just let that sit, and just trying to build over here what we were doing, still doing real estate, still doing a little bit of everything, and just letting that sit until we got an approval. Once we got an approval to build, we're like, okay, we have to come up with the design. And we sat down with our designer, and I was like, what can we build with these setbacks?
Yes.
Because you have setbacks here, we have setbacks on each side. And he's like, you can build a home that's 15 feet wide. And I was like, what? And we're like, okay, let's do it. So we sat on the drawing board and see, like, how can we build something like this?
Yeah.
And obviously we needed to go up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's kind of like how it really happened. And then we just started drawing on the drawing board, trying to get ideas. this would function like this. And even though it's very narrow, it's functional.
Yeah.
It's very functional.
I mean, just think about this. When you even the tiny homes, right? The tiny homes you see on, like, it's actually pretty cool, right?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
And a lot of younger people, like, they're very, like, minimalist.
Yeah.
Like, they don't like all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And they just, they're very minimalist.
Yeah. So, which I've seen them and they're super cool, right? They're nice homes. I mean, you listed one. It's sold within one day, right? You have another one, right?
No, we built the first one.
Okay.
Okay, so we listed that one, and I listed on a Thursday, and I scheduled my open house and everything. I had showings, and I had an offer on Sunday.
Okay, within
Full
2
price,
days. Yeah.
full price. Didn't even ask
Or anything.
for anything.
Yeah.
And I was like, in this market, they're not asking for any. I'm like, bingo, let's do
Well,
it.
I mean, you're doing something completely out of the norm.
It's quirky.
Yeah.
It's different, but I think people like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
I mean, that's the aspect of doing something different, right? And then you currently have another one, right? Right on the market?
Yes. So we finished that one and we started with the next one. We built that one and we just recently completed that one. I put my sign outside. I already had my listing,
Yeah.
but it hasn't gone live because I was waiting for staging and pictures and all that stuff. Somebody called me. He's like, Maria, I want to purchase the home. I was like, I'm going to
Sweet.
send you my prequel. What email do I send you my stuff? And I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Send me what you got. And right away, we just went under.
Oh my God! Congratulations. All right, so let's just go. Let's for everyone that is listening or watching this, right? From somebody that was making coffee back in the day, helping her current husband with his budgeting and his projects, to staying home for, I'll say, years, right?
Yeah,
I mean, having
with you.
three kids, well, plus your oldest, and then getting back on track into real estate, and then doing this all over again, and now you're doing, helping families, listing properties, developing, still helping your husband with his projects. How do you maneuver all this craziness?
And that's one of the biggest things that we have to learn how to learn how to delegate things. Like we have our development company, but we just need to have the right people, all the right working pieces. I know what I need to do. My husband knows what he needs to do. We just surround ourselves with the right team, so we can make it work. And that's one of the reasons that obviously I joined the team, because at the time I was a solo agent, and I just felt so overwhelmed. And I felt like I wasn't going anywhere. And because obviously we were doing the development, I was still a full-time mom in my real estate career. I was not learning anything new. I felt like I was stuck. So I was like, I need change. I need a kind of somebody to help me out on the back end on my real estate, because my development, I'm doing this, and just learning how to structure yourself to
break through the ceiling.
That's one of the hardest things to do, to learn how to do that. And change is scary, but making the change even here was probably one of the best things, 'cause I feel like I have more time to do things like development or just my family.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that was actually my next question. How did you end up with that?
Because that's a big part. That's one of the biggest parts. Like when you have a company, when you run multiple companies, is learning how to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, like you mentioned, just knowing the roles, right, between yourself and what your husband is doing, it's huge. That's that way you don't step in on each other's toes, and not, you're creating nonsense arguments about things. All right, so Maria, I mean, anybody that is watching, Maria, from being, a mom, a developer, a wife, everything else, right, that you've been doing. If somebody needs your assistance, and maybe they want to ask you more questions about how you went through all of this, right? How do they find you?
Well, you can find me on Instagram at Maria Sales AZ. and on Facebook under Maria Guerrero.
Okay. And Maria, I mean, your story is amazing. I'm sure we're gonna have a lot of people that is gonna resonate with your story. What's the plan for you guys for the rest of the year, for next year? Do you guys have something in mind that you want to achieve? Because it sounds like everything you put in your mind, you can do it, right? Mm-hmm. So what's in the horizons?
Our goal is obviously to continue to grow our business and the development, and obviously, like everybody else would, just like our rental portfolio to try to leave like a legacy,
like
for
to your children and
kids and stuff like that.
If you don't mind me asking, how old is your oldest?
15.
15. Do you think he'll like getting into this business?
Oh, yeah. He already told me. He's like, Mom, I'm going to be a realtor.
That's awesome.
And I was like, okay.
We have a 17-year-old and a 22-year-old. Our 22, almost to be 23, she's into nursing. She likes that kind of stuff. Our 17, we still don't know. She might not. We don't know, right? But yeah, I mean, your 15-year-old son, I mean, he's already telling you like, hey, I want to do this.
You want to do real estate or development or something to do with the industry.
That's awesome.
It's surprising because, as you know, being like a business owner, there's a lot of ups and downs and a lot of sacrifices that we do with our own families just to get there. Mm-hmm. So it's nice that like our kids see that value, that the sacrifices that we took, it was for the right reasons, and that they see that, or he sees that, my oldest, and that wants to continue to do what we're doing regardless of maybe the sacrifice or the ups and downs that we went through just to get to where we're at now.
I mean, a lot of times, actions speak louder than words, right? You show them by example, and he's seeing you, he's seeing your husband, and I think that's a great example right there. So, Maria, thank you for being part of our podcast.
Thank you. We appreciate much for having me.
Thank you for taking your time to do this with us. Once again, everyone that is watching or listening to this, follow Maria Guerrero. She's on Instagram. If you guys like this episode, please make sure to share, like, and subscribe. If you're an agent that resonated to this podcast and you feel that our team can assist, simply complete the application on my bio, and it's also going to be on the description. Thank you. I'll see you guys soon.